Alright, Davison Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno 3. Awesome fight. Like, it may not have lived up to what the first fight was, but it never will. That first fight was phenomenal. It was way better than the second fight because the second fight was just pure domination by Brandon. And this one was a good one. Much more technical, much more balanced, but still all the bloody, bludgeoning action that we love to see. It was very good, very interesting on the feet. The grappling, as I sort of thought and guessed, played well in Davison Figueiredo's Deus de Guerra in his favor. He was able to either get up or stop any takedowns that Brandon tried, and most importantly, land those shots on the feet. I was incorrect in my prediction that Davison would TKO him in the fourth round, I think I said. I was incorrect there. Brandon Moreno, I shouldn't have doubted his chin, honestly. Like, that was a moment decision in the moment when I made that video. I just thought that, like, the power. Davison Figueiredo has so much power in his hands. I thought, you know what? This is going to be the time. He's pissed. He's coming for it. He's going to finish him. I was wrong. Brandon's chin held up nicely, actually. He was able to eat some big shots and survive. Like, it may seem nonchalant or not as significant because they're smaller guys, they're flyweight, but those are big shots. I mean, they're both people like us. Those shots hurt. They put out anybody watching this, for the most part. And it was just a great fight. One thing that surprises me is and I don't even think it's really a thing, but like I've seen a little bit out there in the MMA landscape that like people were shocked that Brandon Moreno lost. They thought he won. No. What do you mean Brandon Moreno won? I mean, like, I'll grant it was a close fight, but the rounds were pretty even. I thought at the end I wasn't surprised. Or I wasn't like on the edge of my seat. Oh, are they gonna pick Davison Figueiredo? And even if that a little bit, like, because you never know with the judges. But when I heard, I don't even know what it was, like 3 rounds to 2, you knew it was Davison. Like, I don't know. These people, I think, because there was a lot of support for Brandon Moreno, because he's a good guy. I mean, it's not a shocker that there's a lot of support for him. He's a great person. But don't let that cloud your judgment as to the fact that even if they weren't clear rounds, Davison Figueiredo, based on the judges' scoring, which is mandated first and foremost by damage, he clearly did the most damage in the rounds that he won. I mean, like, come on, let's not kid ourselves. It was a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth after the fact, though. Hearing the crowd boo him, like, I get it. Basically, everybody there was only there to see Brandon Moreno, and more importantly, to see Brandon Moreno win. Like, I understand it, I get it. And even, like, it doesn't bother me when they boo him in the weigh-ins or whatever. Not something I would do, but that's me. But after you see a war like that, it bugs me when you boo. Like, when you see the art of martial art on this display, on the canvas, and even if it's not your desired outcome, the fact that you were able to witness such high-level competition, such brawling, teeth-gnashing, face-punching action, and then you boo it. Like, it was very clearly a good fight. I think you can agree. It was a great fight. Why would you boo it? Even if your guy lost. Like, I love Stipe Miocic. I hate seeing him get knocked out. That's why I hate Francis fight weeks. Because not from now on out, because every time in the highlight reel, it's going to be him slamming down on Stipe after he knocks him out. It's hard for me to see. I didn't boo Francis after that. I wasn't very happy. I wasn't applauding and cheering, but I wasn't sinking down to the booing level. And I could be here literally every single week with some sort of complaint about degeneracy in the MMA community. This is going to basically be the last of it on the channel. It bugs me when you see something so fantastic and it doesn't go your way and you boo. Like, come on. Like, it's just something I couldn't relate to. I don't know. But beyond that, great fight. Great job by Davison Figueiredo. We finish with what comes next, because it seems like the consensus is a 4th fight. And honestly, I know there's pushback on that and there's support for that. I'm honestly in the middle. Here's my thing with the 4th fight. I don't hate it. Do I love it? No, I don't love it. I don't necessarily love it because I think it'll be basically a retread of the 3rd fight. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think they've sort of figured each other out enough to know that the third fight is basically going to be what the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th is. Of course, anything can happen in the fight, so that's not 100% true. But you get my drift. I think Davis and Figueiredo is just a little bit better. Here's why I'm not upset about a 4th fight. The domination that Brandon Moreno had in the 2nd fight, was phenomenal. And it's Davis and Figueiredo's lucky that he got the 3rd fight. Honestly. Not to disregard Deus de Guerra. He's lucky to have gotten that 3rd fight because of the pure and utter domination that Brandon Moreno put on display in the 2nd fight. It was mostly happenstance because nobody else really exploded out. Now, we've got Kai Kara France, and is it Oscar Oskarov in the number 1 contenders fight? I can't really remember. I literally just read it like 30 minutes ago. Regardless, a seeming number 1 contenders fight looms on the horizon in March, which is not too far away, which makes me think they're waiting to announce a possible 4th fight based on how we feel a couple months from now and based on the results of that number 1 contenders fight. Because Kai Kara France is making a name for himself in flyweight. Make no mistake, that knockout of Cody Garbrandt put him over. Like, I knew who Kai Kara France was before Cody Garbrandt fought. I seen him fight 1 or 2 times before the Cody Garbrandt fight. But the Cody Garbrandt fight was what got people talking about it. Like, it's a great litmus testament because I love it. I eat, breathe, sleep MMA, and it's great to see my friends who are around me that don't necessarily eat, breathe, sleep MMA, but they're still into it. They still read shit on Instagram. They check my story for stuff I put on. So it's interesting to see what they think, so I can use that as a litmus for what a good percentage of our community, not a large percentage, but a good percentage of it. And it's just, who are we talking about? Because if you're not being talked about, you're probably not as relevant as the people we're talking about. I mean, it's inherent. So people know who Kai Kara France is, particularly and especially from, I mean, the Ultimate Fighter shirt, but particularly and especially from the Cody Garbrandt fight and the Cody Garbrandt, given that it was a knockout. Like, Kai Kara France hasn't exactly been a stellar finisher. Recently he has, now that I think about it, but that finish of Cody Garbrandt, even if it's against Cody Garbrandt, still, I thought Cody was going to win that fight, honestly. It's a compelling match, especially with him and Deus de Guerra. That's interesting. I'm interested. You're interested too. But here's the thing. It almost depends on the support for Brandon Moreno. Because here's the thing. As much as I myself love Deus de Guerra, a lot of people don't. Which I don't know why. Well, I do know why. They're idiots. But there's a lot more mandated masses for Brandon Moreno than there is for Deus de Guerra. At least based on basically his home crowd. But I feel like that extends beyond. I'm a Brandon Moreno fan. I feel like you are too. I haven't met a person that's like, oh no, I hate Brandon Moreno, because you'd be kind of a weirdo to hate Brandon Moreno. So it all depends on if after the number 1 contenders fight, particularly Kai Kara France, because as you can clearly deduce, I'm blanking on his opponent's name. I think it's Oscar Oskarov, but I'm not 100% sure. Regardless, there's 3 people. I love MMA. There's 3 flyweights names I know. Deus de Guerra, Davis Figueiredo, Brandon Moreno, and Kai Kara France. Oscar Oskarov down, and I'm sure if I thought about it, I could dig deeper, but that's the thing. If I have to think about it, you're doing a bad job. With that being said, personally, I think we're getting a 4th fight. I think the public support for Brandon Moreno is enough to push that 4th fight, but it'll be close, and it will be very dependent on that fight in March. Because if that number 1 contenders fight goes through, and especially if Kai Kara France gets another first-round steaming knockout, gets the mic, he can and should and better hope he cuts a hell of a promo. Because Pantoja, that's another flyweight, because that happened to Pantoja. They had Brandon Moreno in studio. It was as close as we could get to being in the cage. They had him in studio, and they're like, okay, why should you fight Brandon Moreno again? Even though you beat him 2 times, so you've got quite an easy job. He's like, yes, it's my time to fight. How am I supposed to be excited about that? Like, come on, give me something. Like, it doesn't have to be top tier Chael Sonnen and Conor McGregor shit talk, but give me something, not just I should fight. Come on. Regardless, getting off topic. I think we're seeing Figgy MORENO4. I don't hate it, I don't love it, but it's all dependent on, here's another thing. I'll finish with this. It's all dependent on how well, particularly Haikara Francis, especially the number one contender, I think is Aspinall. I literally just lost my train of thought. I should have just said it. I always do. That's right. I remember. Brandon Moreno, very smart, and he's probably smart because he probably actually thinks it, but it's untrue. But he went to the media right after, and he said, even the mic, right? I thought I won that fight. I thought it was, I think he said second round, maybe third round, and fifth round. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know he said second and the fifth, and then there's one in there in between. So he staked his claims that, listen, the first fight was close, it was brawl, all out brawl. Second fight, I dominated. This third fight, I thought I won this third fight. You're gonna not give me a rematch after I dominated him and I'm pretty sure I won? That's very compelling. That's a very smart move by Brandon. I love it, I dig it, and I think it's what's gonna be able to get him the fourth fight. That, and of course, his public appeal, because let's be honest, everybody here loves Brandon Moreno. And it's the fact that it's a recipe for a great fight. I mean, basically all the fights have been great. Second one wasn't as great because it was pure domination, but first and third, pretty close, pretty competitive, and pretty action-packed. Either way, I'm going to be watching the flyweights because this is very important with this number one contenders fight, and it's just very compelling. Who gets the next title shot? I'm interested. I'm saying too, so should you.